Jamie Dornan creates a media storm. Being with Dakota Johnson was the mistake of my life. In Los Angeles on Monday morning, the sun was shining through a thin layer of fog, but for the Hollywood media, nothing was brighter than the red headlines that were splashed across the newspapers. Jamie Dornan admits, "Going with Dakota Johnson was the biggest mistake of my life." This wasn't a rumor or an anonymous source. It was uttered live, in a nationally broadcast interview on Late Night with Ethan Cordell, a show known for not shying away from sensitive questions. Just minutes after the broadcast, Twitter exploded. Instagram was flooded with clips of the quote. Fans everywhere couldn't believe their ears. And the most shocked of all, none other than, was Dakota Johnson. Behind the camera, a seemingly perfect relationship, Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan, two names that have made waves around the world thanks to the 50 Shades of Grey series. On screen, they are two people who melt into each other through passion and vulnerability. In real life, although always keeping their privacy, the couple is often seen having dinner, going to events together, or quietly holding hands backstage. Fans once swore that, between them, there is more than just co-stars. Although they have never officially announced their relationship, the times their eyes met, the intimate photos outside of work, and even the way they avoided the press, all led the public to believe Dakota and Jamie are an unnamed Hollywood love. Until Jamie spoke, and all illusions were shattered. The shocking interview, truth or a knife wound in reverse. On the stage of Late Night with Ethan Cordell, Jamie Dornan sat across from the host. Warm yellow lights, audience laughter in the background, everything was going smoothly. Until Ethan gently asked, "Jamie, is there anything in your life that you deeply regret?" One would expect Jamie to say something lighthearted, "I wish I had learned guitar sooner," or, "I should have kept my old Audi longer." But no, Jamie looked straight into the camera. There was a silence for a few seconds, then he said, "I think, getting with Dakota Johnson was the biggest mistake of my life." The audience seemed to hold its breath. Ethan smiled awkwardly, thinking it was a joke. But Jamie didn't laugh. He leaned back in his chair and continued. "I'm not saying this to hurt her. I'm just being honest. That relationship made me lose myself, lose my marriage, lose control of my career. I gave up so much for something that ultimately didn't belong to me. The sweet days, from whispers to vows." Back in 2014–2017, when the world was still infatuated with the 50 Shades series, Jamie and Dakota were pushed into a blurry area between acting and real feelings. A member of the behind-the-scenes crew shared, anonymously, "We used to see them staying on set when they weren't needed. The two of them didn't look like colleagues." The source said they went to Iceland together, under the guise of scouting the next film. But there was no crew with them. Just Jamie, Dakota and the snowy sky. Jamie was still married to model Amelia Warner at the time. Rumors of a separation began to spread. Amelia stopped appearing in public with Jamie. People started whispering. Dakota, who once said in a Vogue interview, "I don't think anyone could play Christian Grey better than Jamie," also refused to answer when asked about her relationship with her co-star. They were both silent, but their eyes, their secret trips, their little signs, said it all. The silent breakup, the silent cracks. In 2020, Jamie abruptly cancelled a major film project. Dakota withdrew from a critically acclaimed indie film. The press asked, "Are they avoiding each other?" Insiders say the two had a conflict. Jamie wanted a clear relationship, but Dakota was not ready to give up her career to settle with him. Meanwhile, Jamie was still trying to reconcile with his ex-wife, an effort that went nowhere. A close friend of Dakota shared, "She was hurt. Really hurt. Not because she was rejected, but because she felt like she was not a strong enough choice. After the shocking statement, how did Dakota Johnson react? Less than an hour after the interview aired, Dakota Johnson's Instagram account posted a short story, black background, only a white line. Silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say. She didn't tag anyone. No mention of Jamie. But the whole world knew who she was talking about. The next morning, Dakota was photographed by paparazzi leaving a coffee shop in Silver Lake. She was barefaced, wearing a woolen hat, holding a latte, and her eyes were red as if she had been crying all night. She did not answer the press. She just walked away, silent. Jamie continued to speak, the naked truth or an excuse for a mistake. In the interview, Jamie continued, "I loved Dakota, in a way I thought I could never love anyone else. But that love consumed me. It had no boundaries. It made me no longer me." He said that the relationship had distanced him from his family and friends, and clouded his career vision. He even considered giving up acting for a while because he could not bear the media pressure surrounding Jamie, Dakota. "She's so strong, so independent, so brilliant. And I'm just a man trying to hold on to something that can't be held." Public reaction, sympathizers, critics. The online community is clearly divided into two camps. Jamie's supporters think he's brave enough to admit his mistakes, dare to face his past, and not everyone can handle Dakota's halo. Dakota's defenders call for a boycott of Jamie for blaming a woman because he doesn't know how to balance, and throwing Dakota under the media's wheels to save himself. Many female artists have implicitly supported Dakota. A tweet from Zendaya shook fans. "If a man says he loves you but can't handle the light you radiate, then that love isn't love, it's a shadow of control." Dakota finally speaks up. 3 days later, Dakota appeared at an independent film event in Tribeca. Contrary to all expectations, she stepped onto the red carpet with a confident smile, a high-necked black dress, and an unprecedentedly cool demeanor. When the reporter asked, "Do you have any comments on Jamie Dornan's statement?" Dakota simply replied, "I don't need to explain anything. If someone considers me the biggest mistake of their life, I can only hope they learn something from that mistake."